Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are excited to be here this week. It's the start of a new week, new beginning. The days got longer, or supposedly, right? Anyway, I'm Mary, and this, of course, is Carmen, Patty, and we're joined today by Lori Hinz. She's going to be our guest, but let's not leave out Andrea over in Florida. She's going to be with us in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to have her right back here in the studio.
Are you coming home finally?
Very soon, yes.
Yeah.
It's like
That's exciting.
We're more excited to see her than she is to
Yeah,
to North Dakota.
I think. Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
I have it perfectly timed. I come back just in time to get my garden started.
Oh, really?
There
That's
you go.
You better watch out, though. That late season snowfall is going to come, honey.
Yeah.
You
It
know
does.
it's right
You
after
bet.
you get back. We're going to get it.
Right? 'Cause
The other shoe will drop.
we're calving, and we always get a blizzard and 20 below wind chill during calving at some point.
That's
So
right.
We're going to save it for you, Andrea.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, guys.
She's actually going to bring it, I think.
Yeah.
So some of you might recognize Lori. She's also on No Apologies with Becker later in the evening, but she agreed to come in and be a guest today because she is actually the National Committee woman for the Republican National Committee.
Right, for the state of North Dakota.
For the state of North Dakota. So we thought, it's a good time to go ahead and visit with her because there's so much going on in the Republican Party, and every party for that matter.
That's all true.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Okay, well, let me back up and go back to how I even got involved in politics because it kind of has a lot to do with why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I was a young mother of a little baby who is 6 months old in 1996, and I decided, since I'm an at-home mom, I think I should volunteer. So I should probably go and do something with my life and volunteer. I've got this extra time and I've got this munchkin. So I walked into headquarters right on Boulevard there for the Republican headquarters and walked in there and said, hey, put me to work. And I had the little kid in my carrier, and he was easygoing, and so I just hauled him everywhere, and I started doing things like stuffing envelopes and making phone calls, get out the phone calls for the party and things like that. And I learned kind of how to connect with the other people from the Republican Party here in North Dakota and just how to do grassroots things. From there, my kids got a little older, and I kept volunteering, and I did things like went door to door, and I'd haul my poor children along, and they would have to knock on doors and put, lit drops, they call them literature drops, so put things in people's doors, and we did that all over town through the years. I got a little more activity-wise, a little more involved as time went on, doing things like helping with people's campaigns and helping them write their commercials for their radio ads and helping them produce their TV commercials for their campaigns and things like that, which was really totally fun. And so over the years, I just added a little bit as I went along with just learning about the grassroots part of the state of North Dakota's Republican Party and just getting involved. And then from there, my husband and I started going to Republican conventions, which are super fun. If you've never been to a Republican,
my gosh.
Right? I mean, it is super, super fun. Carmen, you've been to conventions too, so it is like super fun. Andrea is like the big pro in conventions. She's like a convention junkie.
Yeah.
But it's great fun. And so we continued to get more and more involved as time went on with the party. And I asked my husband some time ago, I'm like, I'd really like to run for some sort of an office. And he's like, no, I don't think you should do that. I was like, okay. So I put that on the shelf for a while, and I continued with my volunteering. And finally, at some point, I broke him. and he said yes. And I wasn't going to run for any type of office until I knew that I had my husband's support. It just was not going to work otherwise. And so he assented, and he's now, of course, my biggest cheerleader. But I decided to run in January of 2020, of all years, for Republican National Committee woman. There are 3 National Committee people for each state and 6 U.S. territories. And I was trying to remember the U.S. territories. It is Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, American Samoa, Puerto Rico, it is U.S. Virgin Islands, and D.C. And those are the 6 territories and districts. And so we have 50 states plus those 6, and we have 3 from each. So there is a National Committee man, a National Committee woman, and then a state party chairperson of either sex, male or female, for each one of those 56 things. So you add them up and you get what we call the 168. And the 168 are the Republican National Committee, and they are essentially the representatives for each state that go to the national committee, get together as a group and plan things. They do everything from having 2 big meetings a year. We have a training meeting actually coming up in April. So
where's that at?
That's in Dallas. So I will be flying to Dallas. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do the show. Don't tell the boss. He's gonna watch this. But he knows. But I'm probably, before I was at the winter meeting in Amelia Island in Florida, and I zoomed in and did a Zoom one with a couple of other national committee women, which is super fun. So anyway, that's coming up. They meet together. They take care of the platform. They do the rules for the Republican Party. They oversee things like debates, and then they also plan the big RNC, which is the Republican National Convention. So RNC can both be Republican National Committee and also Republican National Convention. So it's a really interesting job. It's very different than a lot of other offices that one would hold, because you have things that you do both in the state of North Dakota, and then you also do things at the RNC or with the RNC. So you have a dual role, kind of as an ambassador. I've got my little North Dakota sticker thing on here today. But I really enjoy it because it's a real opportunity to showcase my state. I went to the RNC events both in Charlotte, the National Convention in Charlotte, and then now I've been in Florida. And let me just tell you that it's fun for me to be able to showcase my state, because I love where I live. I just love it in North Dakota. So for me, I'm bragging on the state all the time, and all of my RNC girlfriends are like, yeah, we're going to have to come visit you. I'm like, yes, you are.
Absolutely.
So there I am. I just posted this actually on my Facebook page not long ago, and I can talk about it in the next segment a little bit about how people can get involved. But RNC is an interesting job, and this is when we were in Washington, D.C., one of our trips, and my husband and I went and found the North Dakota sign at the memorial area there. And I will say that it's an honor and a privilege to represent the state, but I talk it up a lot, so I think we're going to have some RNC National Committee people coming to visit, because they hear that a lot from me.
Right.
Like, you should come to North Dakota. Have you been to North Dakota? Nope. I'm like, well,
Right?
y'all need to come.
But it seems like North Dakota is always in the headlines too, as far as the RNC goes, because of our delegates. We have the unbound delegates.
Right.
How many states are unbound?
I do not know how many other states are unbound, but it's
not
very
many.
few. It's very few. We're really interesting and unique in a lot of ways in North Dakota. Another way that we're really different and we set ourselves apart from the other states is that we do not have voter registration in North Dakota. Everybody else has their voter registration, and we just go with our ID.
We're the only state that doesn't.
We are the only one that does that, exactly. So, and I have shared that with a lot of the RNC members too. So, but it's an amazing group of people. I will say that the freshman class, the new members of the RNC, so that you know, we are Trump fans, and we are very America First oriented, and you can rest assured that the cavalry is coming.
I wonder if there aren't some others that are shaking in their boots because of that.
We shall see. It'll be really interesting. I love it, though. I mean, we're very, very energized by what Trump has done for our country, and so therefore we're interested in furthering that America First message even far and wide. So
Perfect. Well, I can't wait to hear more after we come back on Ladies Have Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have been visiting with Lori Hinz, the National Committee woman for the Republican National Committee. And it's never a dull moment when Lori's around, that's for sure.
That's right. That's
but,
right.
We're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. It's so much excitement coming into the new group of gals that are down there.
Yes.
And I assume the gentlemen as well.
Right. Oh, there's some amazing new national committeemen too. Chris Ager from, I believe he's from New Hampshire. You've got Jim DeGraffenried, who's from Nevada, who's awesome too. These are wonderful, wonderful gentlemen too, who are brand new to the RNC, but come with a wealth of experience and information and a lot to add to the table. They're just fantastic. Really, really, really good people at the RNC, especially that I got to meet the new incoming freshmen, and so there's a great deal of us. I was telling you during the break, you missed the whole story.
That's when all the good stuff happens.
Yes, that's when all the good stuff does happen. That's right too. But there is a core group of amazing women who I got to meet right off the bat when I joined the RNC. And by the way, so you know, the RNC members are not paid. It is an unpaid position. It's not like you run for office and then get paid for it and go on junkets and stuff. Everything that you do, you pay for out of your own pocket. And it's a lot of work. This next visit to Dallas, we will be doing 2 full days of training. Like morning to afternoon of training. So it's not like it's all like sitting by the pool. I have yet to do an RNC thing and sit by a pool.
So you got to go a day early or stay a day late.
Yeah, right, exactly. But there's these wonderful gals that I have aligned myself with, and they are just superb. There is Kim Borchers from Kansas. There is Patty Lyman, the National Committee woman from Virginia. My friend Laurel Nakane-Lua from Hawaii. And then my friend Barb Sutter from Minnesota, she's the National Committee woman and when we call ourselves the Wahine Posse, and Wahine is women in Hawaii, and our friend Laura gave us all T-shirts, Wahine for Trump, and so we've got these pink matching shirts that say Wahine for Trump, so we're like the Wahine Posse. But we actually share a lot of information with one another. We talk about what's going on in our states, and we have a really good bond where we can lean on each other and learn about best practices and things that we do. So I love those girls. pieces.
You know, and I just wanted to back up a little bit because when you talk about we're the only state that doesn't have voter registration, why is it such a big deal for the other 49 states? I mean, I look at North Dakota and it's like, what are we missing if we don't have it?
We're not missing anything, actually.
That's
We're
what
just
I'm
fine.
thinking.
We're just fine. And I personally think that a lot of other states could do well to follow our lead in some of the things
That's
that we
what
do
I
in
was
North
thinking.
Dakota. I feel that way about a lot of the things that we do in North Dakota, you know, with our biennial, legislature. There's a lot of things that I think that we do very, very well and do right in North Dakota. I was actually just recently appointed to and assigned to a new committee on the RNC. It's a temporary committee, and it is the Committee on Election Integrity. There are only 24 members who were chosen to be on the committee.
Wow, good for you.
And just so you all know, here's another little tidbit of encouragement for those of you who are going, if we do not have a fair and free election, we do not have a country, what are we going to do? We're on such a bad path. Just so you know, we're on it already. Those of you who think that the RNC is like totally falling down on this one, we are meeting weekly.
Wow.
Now, and we're not even in an election year yet. We are meeting weekly to figure out what we need to do to right the wrongs of what happened in the last election.
You know, that is such a relief
we're going to have
hear.
to, on a topic like that, because I'm sure there's lots of stuff going on, we're going to have you back on. I mean, seriously, to go through just that part of it, because that could be a whole show on what you guys are trying to do to make a safe and fair election.
Well, there are so many things that can be corrected and that can be fixed, and there are things that went right in the election, there are things that went wrong in the election, and you have to mitigate all of those.
And wouldn't the fact, and I don't understand voter registration, obviously, but I'm thinking for all those people that have to have their name on those rolls, doesn't it then open that door for more possibility of messing with things?
Not only that, but the absolute greatest threat right now to elections is HR 1. And I know you guys have talked about HR 1, but it is nightmarish. And the more you delve into it, the worse it is.
So give our viewers just a recap, just a brief recap of what it is.
Well, HR 1 makes it easier to cheat. That is the best way I can describe it to you. It is the one piece of legislation that literally that opens up the barn doors to everything. Right. And it is horrendous, and it's very dangerous, and it has already passed the House, and now it's going to go to the Senate. And please, Lord, let it not pass in the Senate. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that. But it is tremendously bad.
Can you give us some examples, though, of how you can cheat?
Well, for instance, they will allow felons to vote. They will allow illegal aliens to vote with HR 1. They are opening up the rolls and making it more difficult to track people who vote. For instance, you will be able to it's an honor system, basically, which is frightening. People can go to one polling place, give their name and a fake address, and they have to take your vote, and they have to take your name, and then you can go half an hour later to another polling place. HR 1 allows for rampant fraud and rampant cheating. They are just opening everything up. It's tremendously bad.
And even they can't stop the ballots going to people who have died already, right? There's no cutoff for that.
They have literally, in this piece of horrendous, horrible legislation, opened up every possible. The way we view it in the RNC is it should be the easiest possible way for you to vote and the hardest possible way for you to cheat. And this is precisely the opposite in HR 1.
Well, and it also enables a lot more ballot harvesting.
There's so many different parts. It's a 791-page bill, guys. It's horrendous. Yeah, it's horrible. So contact your senator today and make sure that I know that our senators are on board against HR 1. That's great. But there are other senators in other states who may not be. And it would be really, really nice to make sure that they were voting against HR 1.
Do they have to have a 2/3? Please say yes.
Do they have to have what?
A 2/3 vote?
Yeah.
It's not a simple majority vote, is it?
There's the filibuster, and so the thought is that they may do away with the filibuster in advance of it. So we're just like holding our breaths, waiting to see what actually happens.
I saw where Chuck Schumer said that over the weekend.
Yeah,
that they're thinking of doing away with it
if
the Republicans.
I feel like that would come back to bite them in the long run, but they don't. The left doesn't always think long term. They tend to think, we need to do this right now, as in 56 executive orders by Biden right now already, and counting. So.
We're going to let Andrea jump in and get the last question for you.
Questions? Okay.
I was wondering if you see a lot of differences in terms of vision and direction between our state party here in North Dakota and the national level, and how do you reconcile those when there are
Ooh,
differences?
That's a big one.
that's a brutal question. You know what? I would say we all have common goals in many, many areas of Republican platform things. But here in North Dakota, no, you know what? They're similar probably in that there are some people on the RNC who are a little more establishment, and there are some more fired up people probably in the RNC, the same sort of way there are in the state of North Dakota and in the Republican National Committee, Andrea. I think it's similar. You're always going to have that spectrum, and we're also the rule of law, so we really kind of believe in both the RNC and also in the state party that you need to follow the rule of law.
Right.
We look, excuse me, we look forward to hopefully that stuff happening. You know, there's just so much fraud and corruption and whatnot. So
we're going to do our best.
Great to have fresh faces and fresh minds that go ahead and work with that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to talk about $1.9 trillion of your taxpayer money. That's coming up next.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Beck Communications is now hiring independent sales agents around the state. We're looking for highly motivated individuals to take advantage of this opportunity, selling advertising for our news and sports programming on Beck TV and sponsorships for the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team. Independent sales agents will make 50% commission on their completed sales for all products. Beck TV is the leader in broadcasting local sports, owner of the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team, and originator of newly launched news opinion programming. Submit your application now at careers@bechtel.coop. This is an exciting opportunity you can't pass up. 50% commission for independent sales agents now hiring at Beck Communications.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We decided to keep Lori around since she knows the studio so well, and she can help us out with this $1.9 trillion problem that we have, the coronavirus stimulus. It's like, okay, less than 9% of it actually goes to anything COVID related, so that's interesting. But I want you to take a quick peek at this video I found.
Welcome back. We are on countdown mode to the stimulus passing. A House vote on the latest version of the COVID-19 relief bill could come as soon as today. The White House is touting how progressive this legislation really is. Watch.
Senator Manchin and Senator Sanders and a range of Democrats in between just voted to support a $1.9 trillion package that is the most progressive piece of legislation in history. So I would say we feel pretty good about that.
Joining me right now is Florida Congressman and House Armed Services Committee and Judiciary Committee member Matt Gaetz. Congressman, it's great to see you again. Thanks very much for being here. You just heard Jen Psaki call it what it is. Your reaction?
It is a Trojan horse for socialism. It is everything Democrats have wanted wrapped and branded in coronavirus so that people are scared into voting for it. And the point that was made by your financial panel earlier is entirely correct. This is only the beginning, and we are about to see massive inflation in this country as a consequence of no real pressure against the printing of money. The only reasons that we haven't seen that inflation yet, one, we've had downward pressure as a result of the lower cost of transmitting data. Second, the dollar continues to be very attractive globally for people to acquire. And I think that as we roll into the second and third rounds of stimulus, you put the dollar as the global reserve currency in more jeopardy than it is today.
So that's very interesting, right? I mean, it is a Trojan horse. But before we start our discussion, I have just another short little clip I want you to see, and then we'll really dig into it.
Senator Manchin and Senator Sanders and a range of Democrats in between just voted to support a $1.9 trillion package that is the most progressive piece of legislation in history. So I would say we feel pretty good about that.
Ted Cruz says that the stimulus bill rebate checks will also go to illegal immigrants because the Democrats shot down his amendment to ensure that illegals coming into this country are not part of this pool getting the $1,400 checks. He says as long as you have a Social Security number, legal or not, you'll get the check.
All right, so we didn't even give Devin a chance to say his piece, but my whole point was that even the illegals will get a $1,400 stimulus check if they have a Social Security number. What say you, ladies?
I'm just amazed that only 1% goes to vaccines. It is $1.9 trillion in stimulus, and 1% goes actually to vaccines.
And a total of 9% across the board, that's it, that is COVID related.
Mm-hmm.
And then where's the rest of it going, you might ask? Huh.
You might
Let's
ask.
think about this. How many cities are getting bailed out? How many states are getting bailed out? And when Gates said it's socialism packaged as a bill of relief, it's criminal is what it is. I can't imagine inflation isn't going to be skyrocketing. How can it not?
It's scary because so many people wanted to go back to work and were not able to, and that's what Americans wanted. They wanted to be able to earn their own living, so they got shut down, weren't able to earn a living, and now they're calling it the most progressive bill ever.
Just the word progressive
it
bothers
is.
me.
Yeah.
Triggered.
Yeah, I think they meant most expensive, not
right.
No, she meant progressive.
Both.
She
Yeah,
meant
it is.
progressive.
It is. And
They
that
can
costs-
flaunt it
it'll
now,
cost
and
you,
nobody
yeah.
can stop them. They think
Yeah.
so.
Andrea?
We have no voice for
We
Andrea.
have no voice.
Audio. Oh,
Audio.
man.
Are
you muted?
There
Are
you
you
are.
muted?
Here she is.
Classic Zoom error. Sorry, guys. They took every wish list item they've ever had, and then they figured out how to reword it so they could include COVID in their wish list item, and then they put their wish list item in the bill. So anything remotely, like it didn't even have to be tangentially related. It didn't have to be related at all. It was just on their wish list, so they put it in the bill, and there's everything.
Yeah.
There's so much in here.
Yeah, that's so true.
No, they've got paid family leave. They've got oh my goodness.
For federal employees, the paid family leave, isn't it?
Right.
Yep. Paid family leave for federal employees, but it's a stack of change. You get $1,400 a week as long as you're a federal employee, and your kid is at a school where you have the option of attending virtually or in hybrid. It doesn't mean that you have to be mandated to attend via virtual or hybrid. Just as long as the option exists and you're a federal employee, you get $1,400 a week.
Isn't that
week?
That is a crime.
Week.
For up to 15 weeks. Like
up to. That is amazing. That
Yeah, she's speechless.
I stay home and I teach my kids. It's insulting.
It is.
You bet. It is. It is.
You bet.
And not one Republican voted for this.
Yeah, and that was the crazy
not
part.
in the Senate or the House of Representatives.
Yep. And the other thing we haven't talked about is how much of this money is going to prop up Obamacare because it was such a horrendous law to begin with. And it's not going away like we had heard. That's what everybody ran on, was they were going to get rid of Obamacare, and sure enough, we aren't there. And now they're going to use these dollars to prop it up because, where was I reading? 45% of the people that are that have left the whole program and found their own private insurance off of the Obamacare offer because it's so expensive for people that don't qualify as low income. And the middle class, again, everything seems to be geared to breaking the middle class because they are the backbone of this country. They are what built this country. They are what keep our economy strong. And we've already got businesses not going to open up again because of COVID, and it broke them. And now they're going to pile on, so more of them are going to be, it's crazy.
The thing that gets me is the fact that they are not even requiring schools to reopen.
Right.
I mean, they're completely ignoring all of the COVID things that you could be doing and that you could or should do, and they're not, accelerating vaccines even very much in this bill either, but they're not even requiring schools to open.
I don't even understand the amount of money that went to K through 12 again in this package.
Right.
How much more can they? When I thought of in our state, I can't speak to other states, but our DPI, they've already budgeted for the teachers, for the extra workers, pick your poison, whatever it is. It's already been in that school budget before COVID ever hit. They already got millions and millions of dollars in the first two packages, and now they're getting more.
Right, and they're saying that they haven't even spent all of the money from the first payment, that they have money on hand. So why give them billions of dollars more in order to do what? I mean, if they're not increasing their expenses, where is this money going to?
Right. But it's part of the plan.
Yes.
We had Dr. Michael Rechtenwald here on Thursday. He was one of our guests. We talked about the Great Reset. Yep. And that was part of it, to use these kind of catastrophic situations, something like a pandemic, and then the government could take in and take control. So instead of letting people get back to work, the government will give you this money.
Yep. Never let a crisis
go to waste. That's just what I was thinking.
Ever too. Democrats also, they rejected the amendment to hold states that underreported nursing home deaths accountable. They rejected a provision to help private and parochial schools combat COVID-19. They failed to include the Hyde Amendment, longstanding protection to ensure taxpayer dollars are not used to fund abortion. They took out everything that was actually helpful and put in pork.
Right.
It's amazing because they did come forward with 286 amendments. Out of this, 2 were accepted.
Right.
Out of 286 amendments, 2 were accepted.
When somebody tells you that Republicans are obstructionist, they're not. It's the Democrats.
Right.
It's just unbelievable.
And when they tell you that the Democrats are the ones for the little guys, this thing actually rewards the people that have like $240,000 annual income homes, and they're going to get up to $15,000 in subsidies for Obamacare to pay the premiums.
Ridiculous.
Now, tell me, that does not have a Republican name on it.
Right. We're going to have to come back and hit it hard on the next segment right after this. We'll be back with Ladies Have Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a cum roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Yeah. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're going to pick up where we left off in our fury regarding 1.9 trillion with a T dollars that is going out this, with this new package. Anyway, some of the education parts of it doesn't even take effect until 2026.
Right.
And so what does that have to do with coronavirus?
Right. Are they just expecting China will just keep plugging away with whatever bioweapon is next? I don't know. Are they planning? I don't know. I looked at the DPI website for North Dakota, and the first package of however many millions we got, I can't even remember, was it 18? I don't know what the state got, but I can't remember. Anyway, it was 80% of the spending of that went toward cleaning supplies. And the kids weren't even in school. So I don't know. I'm confused. I haven't seen a breakdown of what that really means, but that really caught my attention.
Before we move on, I want to take a look at this little photo that I have. Anything the government gives you was taken from somebody else.
Amen.
Yes. So in this case, it's actually being taken from our grandchildren. There's no way we're going to pay it back in this generation.
Right. Or great-grandchildren, as the case may be.
Yeah,
This is exactly what I told my kids. I'm like, we are taking this money from future you, and we're going to spend it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're done.
What? And the sad thing is everybody's going along with it because a Reuters poll showed that 70% of people are in favor of it because we've got that $1,400 check dangling in front of us. So everybody's happy for the short term. And the regular mainstream media didn't talk about all the scary provisions in the bill that we should be like, wait a minute. Most people don't even know about it.
But I think, too, they don't quite understand. It's that $1,400, okay? And $1,400 isn't going to make or break a lot of people.
No.
It will definitely help some. But it's like everyone's of the, it's like, well, if she's going to take it, I'm going to take it too.
Right.
Because I know there's plenty of people that are going to accept the check. I mean, it's just given to you. They're not going to turn it away because everybody else is accepting it. And I think it's time that we need to stand up and just say, hey, you know, those of us that need it, take it. Those of us that don't need it, just say, no, thank you, we don't need it.
Right. But you know, and you'll run into a lot of business people too, though, and along with some of the organizations that promote business, they're all about, well, no, it's free money.
It's not free.
Because it's not coming off your bottom line. And it's like,
go
ahead, Andrea. What?
No, you go ahead.
No, you finish.
No, so the $1,400, if Mary said don't take it, right? But the problem is, even if you don't take it, you're still losing value on the dollars you kept, because the dollars that are still in your savings account or anywhere else, because there's no way this level of spending, which is just printing money and sending it out the door, isn't going to impact the value of what you have. So if you don't take it, not only are you don't have that money that you didn't need, but they're taking it from you because they're taking the value from the dollar you still have.
Yeah,
right.
Good point.
It's
Excellent
terrible.
Point.
And then I think we need to be careful that they say, you know, no, and now Biden's going to push his new package. He's going on tour. I can't wait to see what that looks like. But so they're going to push that. They're going to raise taxes on the rich, and everybody goes, yay, get those dirty dogs, except they don't ever define rich. And when you start looking at it, it's going to be another pile on the middle class to at least try and keep our heads above water. It's just criminal.
It looks like it's a $350 billion bailout for a lot of the blue states too, and a lot of really very cherry-picked pork things. You know, I hate saying pork because people get mad when you make it.
I hate saying package and
I
Biden
know,
in the same
right?
sentence.
It's so frustrating. But it's like $86 billion for a pension bailout, $1.7 billion for Amtrak. I'm really having a hard leap there between COVID and Amtrak. Not really sure how trains relate to that, but whatever. Also, $800 million for foreign food aid. That's like $800 million from our grandchildren for foreign food aid. $470 million for the humanities, arts, and museums. Again, I'm like, where is the COVID relation to this stuff? Now, I would be all for a bailout. I'm all for helping people because they had no way to know that this COVID was coming. They had no way to combat it. I understand that. I'm good with, you know, righteous spending. I really believe in that, but this is silliness.
Well, but we know about the arts, but when you brought up the Arts Council, with the Kennedy Art Center last time, they got all those millions of dollars, and they didn't even spend it the day they got the money. They put all their employees on furlough the next day, and they have more money now in their coffers than they had before COVID.
And now they're getting more. I was going to say the same thing, and that was one of the things that Trump said, okay, fine, we can let them have some of their projects like the arts councils. And now they're getting more.
$100 million for the EPA to address health outcome disparities from pollution. I just don't. Well, that is a huge $100 million. That's a lot of money, and it's astounding. So the bottom line is wasteful spending, not going toward COVID. It's a travesty. It's ridiculous.
And $100 million for a bridge from Canada to New York. Right?
And then there was also
$40 billion to higher ed to indoctrinate our kids into believing that socialism is the right road to go down. Maybe that's what the train's for.
But there
you go. For socialism.
But they said it's because of all the tuition they lost. Was it?
I paid tuition. I have 3 kids in college. They paid tuition.
Well, there's tuition relief too,
to sit in their dorm room.
To sit in their dorm room and play games.
Yeah. And somebody said, well, I know they have to pay their bills at the universities. Well, you know what? If you've got no students in your building, you probably don't have to heat the whole dang thing at 70 degrees.
Or have
you
a janitor through every, twice a day or whatever it is.
I'd be really curious to see how many kids took pauses after they didn't have in-person classes. I'd be really curious, and I have a feeling
I've asked them.
Have you? And
they're not going to class.
No, and I suspect that the higher ed folks are not going to report that. I don't think we're ever going to hear how many kids just decided, no, this is not working for me. I'm not having in-person classes. I'm just going to stop and go back when they go back full time, you know.
And some have.
And some have. And I'd be really curious how many have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we probably won't find that out anytime soon.
Yeah, I have a quote here from, it's a former Trump special assistant for the National Economic Council, and he had said, the proposed change in the plan recklessly boosts federal subsidies for health insurance in a way that exacerbates tax inequities, substantially replaces private spending with government spending, reduces incentives for work and productivity, and significantly adds to already unsustainable family and government health care expenditures. And that's from, what's his name, Brian Blaze. And so when you stop and think about, when you put all those pieces together, that's a huge picture of so many sectors that affect our family homes astronomically, really. When you play that all out, it's big.
It's unbelievable. Andrea, are you feeling any of the money down your way in Florida? Is there any pork down there that's going on? What's Florida stand to gain? Anything?
I haven't seen anything specifically for Florida, but we're kind of getting underrepresented or mistreated here in this whole thing. We're a red state here too, right? So don't get all that special treatment that some of those liberal states received. They were getting, it was based on unemployment rates too. So a state like Florida that went back to work, opened everything up and said, we're open for business, gets penalized. We have to subsidize the states that are still shut down. You still can't go outside. You still can't even walk your dog. Like, these places are crazy and we're funding them.
Right. Same thing with,
that's a great point.
They were talking about California with your exact point about how most of them were laid off. And now we're paying for such a large state like that was paid off, or that was laid off. And so it is just unbelievable. But $1.9 trillion, just let that sink in.
But is it a coincidence that suddenly California has a spike in cases again? I don't know. Is there
and we've talked about that before too, where we've looked at the different charts, and the states that have shut down, actually their rates are as high or higher as the ones that opened up. There was no difference except maybe in the negative direction.
Right.
So obviously we're not going to solve all the world problems in this segment
Well, we
alone.
could. We could. If they were just to ask us.
We're that close.
We're going to come back with a lighter side right after this.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. This is the segment that we like to use for the lighter side because we have such heavy stuff during the show and kind of depressing in a way. We like to leave you with something so that you come back and watch us again, right?
Yeah, and go through it all over again.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
So I want you to take a peek at this video. So what that was, it was about 50 different people holding onto a jump rope, coordinating all that. Breathe, Lori.
I'm feeling a little pressured for the person in the center. I'm like, the pressure on there not to like step on the like that would be really hard for me. Thank you very much.
And it's just think of the cooperation that goes in and the teamwork. And it's like, and I'm wondering if they were teaching teamwork on something like that. And if we all did teamwork and just worked together, we could make this country better.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Well, but I thought when I first watched that, maybe we all have to be on skateboards. It looked like maybe it was on, like jump up and hit the skateboard and jump up.
That's really crazy. There must have been
complicated.
25 different jump ropes there. I was literally here, I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like there's about 25 on each side there. So you're right, 50 people would need to do that. That was really interesting. I wonder where that was from. Do you know?
You know, Jan sent it to me, and I didn't find out exactly where it was from. But
So if one person was off, and just look at the importance, if one person was off, they could mess up the whole thing. And when you first talked about jump rope videos, I was thinking you've seen those dance teams where we'll have to do that one of these times.
Oh, you mean us do it or us watch
Hey,
it?
yeah,
to see that.
I think we could do it. You teach an exercise class. I think maybe
when it
we
gets
could
nice, we'll have an
organize,
outside exercise class,
so
and then
funny, you guys.
do that.
That's a great visual. Thanks for that.
And poor Andrea's just sitting there shaking her head.
Like,
You know what? I think that if one of them was off, the fact that the rest of them are cycling together, it would pull that rope along with them. So kind of the way the one person on their own can't quite sing in tune, but when they're all together, they can. It seems like it would work
That's a
pretty well.
metaphor for something bigger, I think.
I think so. I think you're onto something. I really do.
Well, there's something to be said for teamwork. There really, really is. My husband and I have been a couple of times to various company things that we've had to go to, and they have team building exercises, and my husband hates them. He just despises them. He's like, I do not play well with others. And so he's like, I am not going to go and do the team building thing. But every time that we have gone and done team building things, it is always such a blessing and so cool, and you make so great relationships with other people. And that's the benefit of being on a team. I mean, I played sports in high school, and it was wonderful to be part of my basketball team and part of a group. And then the same thing with theater. I had lots of theater friends. And once you do those things and you are part of a team, my tennis team, some of the most enriching and wonderful relationships I've ever had are with my tennis girlfriends. So teamwork is always good.
Yeah.
And
you
that's
can get
right here at Beck, for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's a team that's putting this all together and getting the word out to the viewers, because it's something that was lacking. It's just part of the team, and I'm so proud to be part of that team.
Well, in fact, we were just joking around last week, was it? About cheerleading uniforms for this event that we might go to.
Everyone picked up the ball and went with it. Yeah.
If all us ladies could get together and just kind of,
Yeah, I don't think that
relive the golden years,
You know, the thing about team building exercises, I think most people, if you're some kind of a retreat or company, a function, you're kind of like, oh man.
Right.
But everybody gets into it in the end. It's like you just have to push yourself a little bit.
I think it's once someone jumps in, and
Right.
it's like nobody wants to do it, but once they all get in, then
Yeah.
it's fun. It always is
And then
fun.
you
It
open
ends up
up.
being fun.
It's peer pressure.
It is. Pure peer pressure.
Yeah.
In a good way.
So much fun.
All right. Well, and now we've got about 2 minutes left, and we like to use this for our final thoughts. What would you like to share with our viewers today, Carmen? Anything?
Goodness, I'm still back to when I was in high school cheerleading in my head here.
Oh, yeah.
I might have been a little bit more limber back then. I don't know. But, when you think about that, just how you build team, how you build cooperation, how you build even within your own family. I mean, there can be some really fun times, just even getting together and playing board games, anything, or, whatever works. I just think we're never meant to be alone unless we choose to be, right? And so we can do a lot of good things together.
I agree, and I find too that sometimes you just got to push yourself a little bit. We've all had that situation where you're just feeling like, I'm just going to sit here, I'm not going to do anything. But then we've all had the opposite where like you just stick yourself out a little bit, and it almost always brings forth rewards. So reach out and create teams.
Exactly.
in your
My
life.
story on teamwork today is to get involved with the reorganization meetings that are coming up. And
There
if
you
you
go.
want to learn about them, go to my Facebook page. It's Lori Hinz, 4ND, Lorihinz, 4ND on Facebook, and you can follow me and you can contact me there and find out about how you can get involved. Because if you're frustrated and aggravated, do something about it. Be a doer.
Right. And when she talks about reorganization meetings, she's talking about her districts, your district within your city or town.
Correct.
Andrea?
Which is its own little team.
It is.
Yeah. Join the
Exactly.
team.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
Lori, I'm looking forward to our next road trip.
You're on.
Oh,
Go
boy.
girl. Yes, sir.
You're going to have to come home for that.
Yeah. Thank you all for having me.
Yes,
I had such
thank
a fun
you.
time.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
Appreciate you
Awesome.
showing up and just helping us out and being a guest and then helping us with hosting.
Happy to be here.
Great.
Thank you.
Great.
So join us next time on Ladies of Another View on Beck when we bring you more good news, or try to bring you good news anyway, right? Let's be honest.
Perspectives,
That's right.
yeah.
But that'll be next time on Ladies of Another View on Beck.